Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is John. I am Orphan Car Garage. I'm located in Abington, and that's in the state of Massachusetts. We're about 30 minutes or so south of Boston. So recently I've profiled you a couple of later model Orphans, and by later model I mean 1980s vintage, an Oldsmobile, a really cool Renault GTA. I decided today to bring it back a few decades, back to our roots, to the real vintage stuff. This is an orphaned Buick, a Buick that needs a new home. From 1953. This is a Buick Special Riviera. It's sort of a mouthful of a name, but I'll explain it to you now. If you know your Buicks, you know these Ventaports on the front fenders, and we've seen 3 of those. And that was Buick letting you know, and passers-by know, that you bought a lesser model car under the Roadmaster, which would have 4 of those Ventaports. Buick called those Ventaports on the front fender. The Riviera would mean that this car is a hardtop. All Buicks in the early 1950s with a hardtop, meaning no pillars or door frames, were referred to as Riviera models. And what a sexy model that is. The Special is the entry-level Buick. So this was actually a little bit smaller than its bigger brother, the Super, and of course the Roadmaster, which makes this car a little bit easier to drive today. It's still a really good package. It looks really sharp, and I guess for 1953, somewhat condensed. What makes this particular car very special is that it's an extremely original car, wearing most of, if not all, its original paint. And I believe that color, which is real pretty, is called Glacier Blue, with that white or off-white painted hardtop. This car was in its original owner's family until about 2016. The original owner was your stereotypical little old lady from New Jersey who drove this car back and forth to the grocery store, errands, and of course church. She passed away in the 1970s. Her husband kept the car, drove it sparingly. I have receipts that date back to the 1960s for this car with her husband's name on it. And he was having service done to this car in the early 1970s. I have a Sears battery warranty from 1971 for this car in the original owner's name, or at least the husband of the woman that originally drove this car. We assume that the car was put into storage basically by the document history we have of the car, the receipts. This car was put away by its original family, maybe after the husband passed away, in or around 1980 or 1981, because that's kind of where the service records end until they get picked up again in 2011. So this car presumably went into some long-term hibernation from 1981-ish until 2011, when a descendant of the original owner removed the car from storage and spent an extreme amount of money bringing this car back to roadworthy condition. We have all those receipts, most of them dating from 2011 to 2014, and if you added them up, and I didn't sit and add every one of them up, but well over $10,000 was invested in this car to make it roadworthy again in 2011. Used sparingly ever since, and passed on to a second family owner up in Maine, and that's where we acquired the car from, the gentleman in Maine. So basically, I guess you could say this is a 2-owner car from 1953. The color, again, like I mentioned, is a real pretty blue. I believe Buick called this Glacier Blue. If I'm wrong, you can correct me on that. This was a mid-year color introduction for the spring of 1953, from what I could gather. And of course, we've got that really cool off-white hardtop. Obviously, lots of patina. This car is original paint. This car has original paint from 1953. You just hardly ever see that. Of course, it has its defects, but I love this stuff. I would rather have an original paint car with defects and patina, we'll call it, than a repainted car. I really would, and it's becoming more and more popular that way because, as people say, they're only original once. This is an original paint car. It's just unbelievable. With that being said, the chrome and the trim is also very original and has some wear, as you'd expect for a car of this age that didn't live in a bubble. Definitely some minor pitting there on the front bumper. A little bit of delamination. I wouldn't touch it. In fact, when this car came in, I debated whether to have some paint correction done on it, because I do believe this paint could be brought back to a little bit more of its original form as far as the shine goes. But in the end, I decided to leave it alone. It's almost like a barn find at this point. I know that term gets overused, but this is just an incredible survivor on the exterior. All its original emblems, and of course they show wear and time. 1953. If anyone out there was born in 1953, tell me how you're feeling today. Any aches or pains or scrapes or bruises? Don't expect a car to be any different. I say it all the time. When General Motors built this car in 1953, they never in a million years expected it to still be around this many years later in 2025. Rear bumper, again, typical wear and tear for a car this age, but it's all original. And when you guys see the paperwork that I have on this car, you're gonna die, because I almost did. Just amazing. I love old documentation. No exterior rust on the car, although there is 2 spots of corrosion in the trunk. Right about here behind the taillights on both sides on the trunk floor. And if you go to my website, orphancargarage.com, you can see those. I will try to remember to show you for the sake of time, because I like to try to keep my videos all under 15 minutes so I don't lose you guys. I will try to show you the trunk. Nothing too special in there. It does have the original mat, but there is some corrosion on both corners just inside these taillights. That's all I can find. The undercarriage on this car is extremely solid. It's never been undercoated. There's obviously some natural scale on some of the components in the frame, but rock solid under there overall. Especially considering this car was sold new and spent its whole life with its first family in New Jersey. I believe New Jersey and Pennsylvania, I think, are where the family members lived that owned this car. Originally, it was sold at Bergen Motors in New Jersey, and I have paperwork from that dealership. Such a cool thing. So we're gonna get inside now, and I'll show you the interior. Now, this interior, when the car was resurrected in 2011 by its original family, they decided to reupholster the seats, and they used proper fabric from SMS Fabrics out in, I believe they're in Oregon. This may not be exactly like the original, or it may be exactly like the original. I'm not gonna claim either way. I do have pictures of the car before it was reupholstered, and there was some serious wear on the driver's side seat here. So I'm actually kind of glad they did it, as long as they did it tastefully and correctly, and they obviously did. At that time, they also changed out the carpet. Door panels appear to be original. Everything works as designed. A little bit of wear there on that leather or vinyl armrest. Now, the special, again, was the entry-level Buick, so it's sort of sparse when it comes to gauges. Everything works: the gas gauge, the temp gauge, the amp gauge, the oil gauge, and the speedometer. While we're looking at the speedometer, I'll show you that the car has 64,671 original miles. We've got a heater that works, lights that work, an air vent, a Buick AM radio, and as I'm telling you that, I have to admit that I didn't try it to see if it worked, so maybe we'll try it today when I start it up, and an optional clock. Now, while I'm thinking of it, oh, and the headliner, I believe that was replaced as well. I think I have a receipt for that. Replacement headliner. The back seat looks like it's never been sat in. Just a fantastic presentation in here. Now, before I forget, I'm notorious for forgetting cool, important stuff. I found this in the original paperwork. This is an original finance document from GMAC. You could finance your Buick through GMAC back in 1953. I had no idea. GMC Time Purchase Plan, 1953 Buick. And the price of the Buick, brand new, was $3,109. They got they put down $1,000 cash, and they traded in a car worth $400.70. I can't imagine what that might have been. It's not printed out here what the trade-in was. Unpaid cash balance, $1,358. That's $1,358. Got some finance charges, and the full amount to be financed, $1,709 with 24 installments of $71.22. That was shocking to me because I didn't realize that GMAC was a thing in 1953. So I learned something new today. And this is the original document from the purchase of the vehicle. The original owner's signature there, Mr. Jordan, and again, Bergen Auto Company. And they were in Rutherford, New Jersey. 19 Franklin Place, Rutherford, New Jersey. That would be a fun address to Google. I love it if the old dealership buildings are still there and now it's like a gym or an auto parts store or repair garage. Sometimes I'm saddened to see that the original buildings have been torn down and there's an ugly apartment building there instead. I'm going to go around the other side and show you the stuff in the glove box because that's super, super cool and shows the originality of this car. Oh, speaking of that, we got a Quaker State oil change sticker from 1964, and it's so good it looks like it was installed yesterday. And another one out here from Gulf, and the date on that is 1971 with 55,000 miles on the car. Again, since then, 1971, 55,000 miles, and again, I believe that's kind of around the time the car was put away. About 10 years before it was put away. I think 71 was when the woman passed away. 64,671 on the miles, so less than 10,000 miles from 1971 until today. So it shows you that the car was definitely put away for a long period of time. And I believe that was the very early 1980s. So in the glove box, this is so cool. I love this stuff. All the original tags that would have hung from the controls to show the driver or the owner how to operate everything, how to operate the wipers. This would have hung from the wiper switch. Ventilator control valve, page 5 of the owner's guide. I think there's another one. Oh, there's one here. This Casco lighter is automatic, talking about how to use the lighter. Fax, personalized cars, a new sort of paint maybe, or a advertisement for a cleaner from the dealership when the car was new. The inside story on riding comfort, cushion topper, cushion cover. That would have been, I imagine, accessory seat thing. Again, another hanging notice that you could hang on the car, or was hanging on some Buick Service Division. Material restrictions imposed by National Defense Program made it necessary to change the plating process and some of the chrome parts on your Buick. How cool is that? The National Defense Program. We were just out of World War II, if you remember. And some original books on the ventilation system and the original bag or envelope that would have held the original owner's manual along with some of these pamphlets. Unfortunately, we don't have the original owner's manual. We have a lot of this stuff, but I don't have the actual manual, but I do have the bag or the envelope that it came in with Bergen's information on the back, Bergen Auto Company, with a roadside emergency towing service if need be from the dealership. Again, that was the selling dealership of this car when it was new. This is just such cool stuff to have. You never, ever, ever have this with a car. Some important instructions. That label looks like it was put on yesterday. That's original from 1953. Just such a cool thing. I'll start the car up for you and show you the engine. The engine's sort of interesting because it was a last year engine for Buick. Of course, to start a Buick, this is a 3-speed manual, by the way. You could get an automatic transmission in 1953, but the Jordans, I believe it was Jordan. Was it Jordan? Yeah, the Jordans stuck to their 3 on the tree concept that they had probably had for years and didn't want to change it. So this car has a 3 on the tree. The clutch was replaced during its resurrection in 2011. I got a receipt for that. So you put the ignition on and you press on the gas pedal. And that's how you start a Buick. I'll leave it in neutral. See, the gas gauge comes right up to over half a tank. Let's see if the know these have to warm up, so just want to see if we get anything out of this radio. I'm going to bet that we probably don't. Yeah, I know it's a tube and they got to warm up, but we're not getting anything out of that. I didn't think we would, but it would have been kind of cool if we did. Look at this, even a dial for bass. Yeah, she's not coming around. So we're going to say the AM radio doesn't work. The other thing I thought was cool is this car has an inside hood release, which I didn't expect in 1953. I love the body lines of this car. I love the roof line with that hardtop look. Bear with me here. This is a heavy hood and I'm holding a phone. There we go. Yes, we've got Buick's famous straight 8 under the hood. This was the last year for this engine as Buick would go over to the V8 in 1954 and all their 8-cylinder models. I believe it was introduced somewhere through 1953 on some of their higher end models, but the Special and the Super would have gotten this tried and true straight 8 from Buick. I didn't even touch this. There's tons of original patina. I didn't want to clean it because I wanted to leave it the way you see it, as almost a barn find look. Listen to that motor purr. There's nothing like a Buick straight 8. Battery is very recent. Lots of originality under here. I wouldn't touch it. Just leave it. It's so cool. And this is so hot right now. People just love original cars. They're only original once. Runs like a top. Recent work on this car, more recently. I know I talked a lot about the work in 2011, and I'd be happy to illustrate that with anybody that's interested in the car. There we go. Recent work on this car, 2025, we had rear shocks installed. There's pictures of that on my website, and those brand new wide white wall tires just installed a few months ago. I got the receipt. Brand new tires, rear shocks, and an oil change. This car is ready for the show circuit this summer. Just a beautiful car. I love the look of this car. Oh man. So anyway, give me a call. Check out my website, orphancargarage.com. My phone number is 508-954-8090. We're asking $22,900 for this car, $22,900. Give me a call. It's really important that this car goes to the correct caretaker. I don't want anything to happen to this car as far as diverting from its originality. That means more to me than anything. So give me a call if you're interested. We'll talk. Our price point on it is $22,900. That's where we'd like to start. If you're a reasonable guy or girl and you want to treat this car the way I believe it should be treated for the rest of its life, the way the Jordans wanted it to be treated, give me a call and we'll talk. 508-954-8090, orphancargarage.com. You'll see a full gallery of photos there. And of course, subscribe and like me here on YouTube. If this car doesn't float your boat, surely the next one would. I've got one coming up soon, that really cool 1971 Fleetwood Cadillac. That's going to be another nice driver with a lot of originality to it. That one's going to be coming up soon. Just hold tight on that. Plus some really other cool stuff around the bend. So you're going to want to stick around. Definitely subscribe and like. Give me a call on this Buick. I really want this car to go to a good home or get it out of here soon before I fall in love with it and it ends up staying in my own collection. I can't stay in business that way. Take it easy until the next one. We'll see you down the road.